Welcome to Movement Mondays, where we release a new video every Monday to show you how to prevent and correct injuries so that you can move like you mean it. Hey, what's up guys? This is Mitch back with another episode of Movement Mondays. And today we're with Kasia, the wonderful, beautiful one and only. And we are talking about shoulder instability today. So a lot of people kind of complain about feeling wonky or a little bit off as they come up overhead. So we have a good example of that today. We're going to show you guys an example and then talk about some easy ways you can work on that. Now, if you're someone that has shoulder instability, this isn't something you should be playing around with on your own. You definitely want to go check in with someone, get it looked at, make sure you're doing the right things for you, because you don't want to be working overhead and some weird stuff if you're feeling iffy about it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is taking a look at Kasia here. So if you do come up overhead, you feel weird, wonky, clicking, popping, something weird, that's when you want to go get someone to take a look at you. If we have Kasia come over here, we're going to show us her left arm. So she comes up, and we're going to take a look and just watch her shoulder as she comes up. She gets great range, she can get all the way up overhead, but if she comes up, she sinks overhead. You guys watch her, boop, she kind of pops out and sneaks it right into place there, and then come back down. And we won't make her do that too many times. She has no pain, no discomfort, she just notices it clicks in and out. Right, so we'll try it one more. Is it okay if we do one more time?
Yep.
So one last time and see if we can take a look at that. She comes up, all the way overhead, she goes up, and bloop, and back down. So we've tested it out, we know where instability is, and we're going to give her some specific strengthening for that, right? So make sure you get checked out first. Now, if we look at her posture, standing position, we notice her shoulder sits, or her shoulder blade sits tipped forwards or almost angled in like this. So she's kind of sitting in this forward position where our ball and socket joints sitting forward are not quite centered in the joint, which can create issues and a bit more instability. So we can't change the joint cap, so that thing's the way it is. But what we can do is change her positional kind of resting spot so she can get more strength around it and more stability as it's centered in the joint. And that's what we're going to do. So, number one we're going to do, if we're going to kind of tackle this a little bit, is get ourselves the crossball, torture tool, device of choice, and get this thing into the chest a little bit. So what we're going to do is grab that palm of our hand, sneak into the front of the chest, and we're going to mash it around a little bit like this and just roll into it a little bit. Now what this is going to do, we don't want to loosen up a joint that's too loose. What we want to do is change your shoulder blade position from this to this to get it set back a little bit. So if we cash grab that, she's gonna sneak on there and then roll around and get some good pressure. Now it should be a little bit tender, just locally over the pressure of the ball. It's a little tender?
Oh yeah.
Feels good?
No.
Magical?
Yes.
Yeah, and she wants to get some good pressure kind of around these different spots. You can also add some motion into it a little bit too. But for someone who's mobile, we want to make sure we don't get clicking or popping or anything like that. So moving in the range that's comfortable. Great, so that's number one. And again, the point of this is to improve shoulder blade position. Don't loosen up the shoulder too much unless you've seen someone and they told you what they want you to do. Number two is if we sneak over here, we want to add in some rotation or external rotation strengthening to work on the rotator cuff, which is going to help center or control the shoulder blade in place. Now, what happens with this, as we can have Kasia demonstrate for us, is as we twist out into this position, we need good control and mobility to stabilize. Eventually, we move this up more and more overhead. Now in clinic, what we might do is do something we call external perturbation, which is a fancy word for moving your arm around without you knowing what we're going to do. And it just challenges different parts of the muscle and of the shoulder. So if we have Kasia give this a try, we're going to show her a way she can do that on her own once she's advanced past that point. Now, she has some weakness here, so she has a lot of trouble with it. We want to make sure shoulder blade position's good, core is tight, neck is in a good position, right? So we're cueing all those good kinetic chain points. She goes ahead and twists out. Just the point it's comfortable, and she slowly comes back in. She's keeping a neutral wrist too. We don't want anyone breaking the wrist out like that. And that looks awesome. What we can do is put a video up we have of exactly how to do this exercise, but what she can do to challenge it, that's pretty hard for her. Yeah. Should have used a head resistance band for her, but that's okay. So she's working on just controlling that back and forth and getting good strength coming across the body and moving back. Now if I sneak in there, thank you. Right, if I sneak in here, I'm going to show you guys a different way to challenge it if this is too easy for you. Is you can go ahead and twist out. Now with your other hand, rather than having someone come in and sort of move that arm around, which maybe I'll demonstrate on Kasia, is you could twist out and use your other arm to press it forwards or pull it back, push it up towards the sky or down. And then this band is sort of putting angular forces on my arm and not just straight back and forth when you're ready for it. Once that's easy, then you can move up into different planes to control it a little bit more. So this is a quick demo. If she were to pull on that band again, this is a bit too much resistance for her, but if she were to pull on there, awesome. She would pull out that band, she twists out. I could be doing something like this to kind of make her have extra challenge in that position. We won't make her work too hard though. As the strength improves, we want to make sure we're adding challenge in that the muscles have to, because unfortunately we don't work like this all the time. We're usually doing a push pass or a tackle or something like that that we need to stabilize with.
do tackles all the time.
She's always tackling people. It's true. Awesome. Great. So if you guys have any questions, leave them below. Hope it helps. Remember, one last time, guys, don't mess around with the stuff. If you're feeling weird or loosey-goosey, get it checked out. Have any questions, leave them below. Comment. Follow us on Instagram, The Movement Center. Subscribe to the channel and move.
Like you mean it.
Move like you mean it. Thanks a lot, guys.